weight. A question that many people want to know the answer to. Why should I eat often if I'm not hungry? And it's a really good question and a very important one, especially when you're trying to lose weight. Here are a few reasons for it. First of all, the less often you eat, the slower your metabolism becomes. Every time you ingest food, your body has to work to break it down, digest it, assimilate it, and so on. This is called the thermic effect of food, and it's actually quite energy consuming. It takes about 10% of our daily caloric intake, depending on the person, but more or less 10%. So it's very important to make sure that your metabolism stays up all the time, all day, rather than eating once every 6-7 hours, because your metabolism will tend to slow down. But the 10% that I'm talking about, it doesn't seem like a lot, but over many months or years, it can actually add up to weight gain quite considerably. If you eat less than every 4 hours or so, for some people it's every 3 hours, for some people every 4, your body actually starts conserving energy because it perceives this as starvation that's coming. And that's something that nature predisposed us to. Your goal is to keep that metabolic rate up as high as possible, and you can do that by eating every 3 to 4 hours and basically never letting your blood sugar drop. Your goal should be to keep the blood sugar levels as even as possible throughout the day, so you don't have cravings, so your energy doesn't go down, so you don't lose focus and concentration. All of these factors are actually dependent strictly on how your blood sugar behaves throughout the day. That's one of the very important reasons for eating often, but eating smaller meals, whether it's meals or snacks. Make sure they are not huge, because again, huge meals will slow down the digestion. That will make you lethargic and heavy and just not a very nice feeling. But you do want to eat meals that within 3 hours after finishing the meal, you're starting to perceive a little bit of hunger. I think a lot of people are very scared of hunger. We're not very in touch with our bodies these days. Kids or animals especially have a great ability to eat exactly the amount their bodies need and eat at the times when their bodies need it. We have been conditioned by our society to either eat at certain hours or to eat because it's there, or to eat because it looks good, or because it's some occasion, even when we're not hungry. So we have lost this ability to figure out when our body is actually hungry and in need of food, or when is it just what I call mental hunger. And when your body goes into starvation mode, you slow down your metabolic rate. It basically starts storing fat for the times of famine. And again, this is the ability that we inherited from our ancestors when we were hunter-gatherers, when food was not available all the time, and people would eat huge amounts of animal protein, a lot of fat especially, to store it for the times when food would not be available. Well, as we know, for most of us, thank God, food is available. More of it is available than necessary most of the time. But this ability to store fat when you all of a sudden don't give your body food for a longer period of time than you should, unfortunately that remained, and that's something that still plays a big role in our metabolic rate and the whole issue of metabolism. And here's an important point. Many people, and I see it so often in clients, already have what's called damaged metabolism. And the reasons may be many. For a lot of people, it's not listening to their body for many years and ignoring the signals that your body gives you, whether it needs food or food is good or bad, whether you're overeating when you're full, undereating when you're hungry, not eating when you're hungry, and drastic dieting. That's a very, very big cause of damaged metabolism. What I mean by damaged metabolism is the metabolism that will not respond normally to the food you give it to. And with some clients, it's so drastic that before they can start losing the weight, they will actually have to gain some amount of weight, because we are just trying to sort of reteach the metabolism to function normally again. And this is actually how much it takes in some cases. But generally, try to distribute your meals throughout the day as best you can. Every 3 to 4 hours, eat moderate meals, not huge, not too small, so you're not starving all the time. You should never be full. As they say, it should be somewhere about 80% full. When you're stopping before you're actually full, but you're satisfied. And again, this notion of being satisfied is really non-existent in our society, because we've been taught to eat in all-you-can-eat places, so our minds are sort of trained to think that the more the better, which is not necessarily the case. And even if you're eating healthy foods, if you're eating too much food, it's still not good. How many times have I heard from clients that they're not hungry in the morning, so they skip breakfast, or they just eat a very light salad for lunch, only to see that later on, late afternoon especially, and in the evening, their cravings are so huge and so strong, and it's mostly for carbohydrates and mostly sugary foods and fats, and usually high carbohydrate foods like sugars combined with fat. Again, probably the last thing you would want to have if you're trying to lose weight. Remember that your body is very, very smart. Try not to outsmart it, because eventually it will always outsmart you. If it's sensing that you haven't given it enough calories throughout the day, it will make you crave certain foods like crazy, and you will end up eating double the amount than you would have eaten otherwise had you spread out the meals more evenly throughout the day.